All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Metal Gear Solid 2 20th Anniversary Marathon. We are into the home stretch here. I am DLimes13. I will be taking you home this evening with 4 Metal Gear runs to close this out. First up is going to be PlatonicGuy doing MGS2 Substance Boss Survival, doing a variety of boss survival stages. On comms is not PlatonicGuy, Ed Boy. Take it away, guys.
All right, so I'm just gonna start the timer and then we can start discussing everything. So 3, 2, 1, go. So I did Snake Tales and VR yesterday and the day before. So now I'm just gonna end it with the final of the mini games that MGS2 has to offer. Just basically all the boss fights back to back to back.
I've been with the unit since.
Except Fortune.
Yeah, except Fortune. Pretty much the boss fights that you can actually fight. If you notice, I'm fighting Olga and the tanker guard rush with Raiden, so later on we're gonna have Snake fighting the plant chapter boss fights as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique category.
Ready, go!
Yeah, for Fatman, he's gonna do an M9 strat.
Yeah, it's kind of what you would see in main game. A lot of these strats are kind of what you'd see with main game, but some of them are a bit different.
Yeah.
So this one here is just a regular 5-shot Harrier on VE. Oh, and the difficulty names are a bit different. This says easy, but it's actually very easy for a main game. I think it follows the Japanese naming conventions, I'm not sure.
Yeah, some of the bosses in normal are set to easy instead of actual normal.
Alright. And now, this fight is a bit interesting, because if you've watched it in main game, you know we just get to the door and skip it. Unfortunately, that option isn't available to us here. We actually have to kill all the Tengus.
So if done optimally, this should be like a 35-second boss fight, or faster.
Awkward. Yeah, that was a bit slow. I missed one of the Tengus at the start, so it kind of put me off the loop. I'm gonna try a very risky strat here. Hopefully it works. Perfect. That can only be done on boss survival. You cannot do that in main game, unfortunately. The reason for that is in main game, when you start boss fights, there's a small delay until you can actually menu any weapons. But in boss survival, that delay is just removed. So I can just get all 3 rays as soon as they open their mouths, and on very easy, it's a one-shot kill.
It's kind of the same with Vamp, where you can just when a narrator says go, you can immediately open the stinger and shoot him. And if you're on a PS3 or PS2, you can make the game lag and slow down, and so that will result in like a less than 2-second fight.
Yeah. Like you can even open up, if you like watch your video back, you can open up the stinger. Like you can equip the stinger like the very first few frames of the fight. Like the stinger will be equipped before you actually see what the fight looks like. Anyways, that was easy, so now I'm moving on to normal. Things get a bit more difficult here. Fortunately with Olga, it's a very similar fight, but as we get into like Guard Rush and Fat Man and stuff, it does get a bit different.
I would say
So
that
luckily-
Tengus are the trickiest part of normal,
Yeah.
because of health.
Um,
Sorry, go on.
My family.
What was I saying? Luckily, I got 2 right side Olgas there. Usually, left side Olgas are a bit faster, but on boss survival, like there's no debate. right side Olgas are faster by far. Unless you do a
Olga-
ridiculously difficult IL strat.
And
So if
also
you notice,
Olga-
I'm trying to preserve ammo here. Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
It's fine. But I was gonna say,
'Cause-
Olga is like the most reset heavy part of boss survival. You gotta keep resetting until you get like an optimal fight.
Yeah, it's like whenever you want a right side, she just happens to go left. Alright, so
There
this
goes
is some
the-
bad RNG, but I will be using this opportunity to pick up some stun grenades, because it will be useful later on. There's it. Hopefully he doesn't... Yep. Kind of a sketchy fight. Where's this bomb? Actually, I'll use this opportunity to pick up a ration, just in case. Because when we get to the Tengus and Rays, it does get a bit difficult. Health management is really important.
Ready?
So just like last time, 5-shot Harrier, but the fight will last a bit longer. You will see me try to pick up some additional ammo in between shots, because I will be using them later on. So I went down here just so I can pick up the info. I missed that ration. I want to get it right now. Okay.
I'll let you go out in style. What the?
One more shot.
and that should be it.
What the?
Same thing here with Bam, but I will also be picking up the stun grenades just before I do the strat.
Ready? Go!
So over here towards the end is when I'm going to be using all my stun grenades. And I'm going to equip all these rations that I picked up because I will be receiving a lot of damage.
Yeah, Tengus on normal, they can do a lot of damage. And on boss survival, you don't have that many rations.
Yep. So I kind of have a strat here with an audio cue. As soon as I hear these guards like say "oh" when they get knocked out, I start cooking another stun grenade.
Nice non-lethal approach.
Yep. It's just a very brainless way of doing it.
It's probably slower, but it's better for health management.
I felt like on average I was getting much better, but I think towards like in some cases like you want to do a little bit of lethal. I can't do the fast strat here for Rays, so it's kind of just going to be a standard Ray loop. Something that you would have seen like on European Extreme. The race between Limes and Joe. It is going to be a little bit slower just because the Rays recover from shots slightly slower based on difficulty, but in principle it is a very similar loop. And it goes up to AO5, so even though this difficulty says normal, the Ray fight here is based on easy from main game.
Yeah, it's easy. You fight 5 rays and it's over.
Yep.
I think on normal you fight 7.
Yeah,
Rays?
7. It goes up to BO2. Oh, that's a bad shot. Oh, that was a weird shot. Still worked. And final hit. There you go. So now Solidus. I'm gonna be doing a loop with the blade. Basically, we'll be hitting him twice on his bad side, and then hitting him twice. That's failed. We'll be hitting him twice on his good side to have him block it, and then twice on his bad side to, if I can get the loop first. Alright, here you go, like that. So
Kinda
basically
similar
we...
to- sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to the Euro one, but that one we do punches. Basically, we want him to block these hits in between so that he attempts to kick us, and that just resets this thing for us. And we're going to do the same thing in phase 2, but the first thing I need to do is to dodge his attack over here. Alright, so that's normal. I'm gonna be doing one more boss survival, but this time with Snake. Just so you can see how Snake is actually a harder character to play with boss survival, because he has less weapons available to him, especially the Solidus fight.
Yeah, there's two things about Snake. He has, like he said, he has almost no weapons. So that's gonna make the Tengus slightly harder, and also that he's slightly shorter than Raiden, so you have to kind of adjust your aim a bit.
Yeah, like if you play boss survival enough, you'll notice that Raiden is the better character gameplay-wise. So these first few fights are very similar to what I did with Raiden on the easy difficulty.
Yeah. So like you saw here, in Guard Rush, he missed a couple shots because just Snake is shorter, and he couldn't hit the backside guard.
That's gonna be 2 cycles. So I missed my first shot there, unfortunately. I will be picking up these stuns as well for a very similar strat. These are just... my god. Nice menus. These are basically backup stuns. I only really need the ones from BAM, but I missed the ones that I get in Guard Rush, so I just picked up those just in case. 5 shots. +1. Snake doesn't get the cutscene where...
Monotone gives you the item.
Yeah, because I think it's Snake who actually throws it to you, but since I'm Snake, I get the item. I don't get the cutscene. Kind of like what I did on Snake Tales 2 days ago.
Otherwise, this fight is the exact same as Raiden.
Ready, go!
So this is going to get a bit awkward, because I'm going to be doing the same strat that I did with Raiden on Raiden normal, but I don't really have access to the assault rifles. So I'm just going to play it a bit safe here, because I want these guards to be fully knocked out.
So casually, this fight on with Snake can be pretty hard because you only have the handguns and no HF blade or anything.
So yeah, very similar strat. I really want to preserve my ammo here, my health, sorry. Because Solidus is going to be a massive pain to deal with.
Yeah, you'll have to fight Solidus with punches instead of the blade.
Okay. Picked up that extra ration. Oh! Okay, so this guy. I thought there was, I guess, one guard who just didn't get knocked out, but that's fine.
Just one guy left.
I'm gonna play it a bit safe here. This is what we would do in main game on very easy if you want to be a bit risky. Okay, so now solid is. I don't have access to the HF plate, so the first thing I'm gonna do is equip my rations.
You don't want to die, obviously.
Oh yeah, a death in boss survival is an instant game over, so you would have to start all over again.
Yeah, exactly.
What's wrong with you?
Hold on one sec.
So now that I got his health low enough, he's just gonna enter this phase where he's gonna spam missiles at me. So I can just get him stuck in this loop for the first phase.
This is pretty much the same thing as in the snake tail run that he did.
Alright, phase 2 is where it gets even trickier, because I don't have this loop that I can do with the missiles, but there is kind of a loop that we can get him into, but it requires a lot of dodging.
Yeah, and it can be pretty precise and tricky to do.
Okay.
Over here. Die. Over here. Die.
And that's time.
Let's go.
GG, that was pretty good for a marathon run.
So yeah, I'm really glad I got to showcase Snake Tails on the first day, VR missions on the second, and now boss survival. I really wanted to get skateboarding into this marathon, but unfortunately things didn't really work out. But I'm really glad we got a bunch of MGS2 material in this marathon.
Yeah.
Well, certainly a good demonstration of boss survival by you, Platonic, and appreciate Ed Boy with the good commentary. Anything else before we move on to the next run?
Looking forward to the Metal Gear block at the end of this marathon.
Yeah,
For
same.
sure, for sure. All right, so we're gonna go to a brief intermission, and then we're gonna get ready for the next one, which is MGS2 Substance. It'll be Tanker on keyboard. If anybody knows anything about this game, the keyboard controls are just outright clunky and garbage. DDoS Kez is gonna demonstrate the Tanker on keyboard, and it's gonna be a fun time. So stick around. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.